Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Why not that Raila Odinga's chances of winning presidency were high? Then I may not be wrong to say that Uhuru Kenyatta may not have supported Raila Odinga for presidency. I know Raila Odinga's presidential bid and the strong fabric, or rather the strong relationship with President Uhuru Kenyatta are correlated. That his bid and the bond that the bond they created through the after the handshake is what metamorphosized to an Azimio la Umoja One Kenya presidential bid of Raila Odinga. And so this is a question, and many people have been wondering, what do you think was so special? Do you think Uhuru endorsed Raila Odinga because of Raila, the personality of Raila, or because of some personal issues? Or he endorsed Raila Odinga because of fallout with Deputy President William Ruto? Depending on how you're looking at it, you might think the way you look at it. But tell me, do you think it is because of Ruto fallout, or it is just because of strong ties with Raila Odinga? I want to see the comments. Now, Keneth Lusaka, in an exclusive interview with The Nation Africa, is detailing a last-minute meeting with President Uhuru Kenyatta. And in that meeting, it is coming out clearly that Raila Odinga's, Uhuru Kenyatta's decision to support Raila for presidency was informed by the shakers and movers of the Kenyan politics. And I want us to get this. Before Lusaka joined, Lusaka wanted to go and seek the governor seat in Bungoma. But by that time, the political, it was taking shape, politics were taking shape. Azimio la Umoja had already bagged the support of DAPK, and DAPK had Wangamati who had decamped from Ford Kenya to join the DAPK, and by default, DAPK had the governor candidate in Bungoma, and there was no way any other affiliate party of Azimio was going to field a candidate. So Lusaka, by that time when he was making a decision to go to vie for governor, he's saying he met with President Uhuru Kenyatta. And in that interview, he's making it clear that President has information about any other person in this country. President wanted Lusaka to stick with the Azimio la Umoja side, and in my understanding, perhaps looking at how the president has also managed to convince bigger part of his cabinet to stick in government, maybe he informed Lusaka that Raila had chances of forming government. And so even if he was going to maybe decide, don't go for governor, maybe go for senator in Bungoma, maybe through Jubilee Party or so, but in any case, he doesn't get the position, the elective seat, because of high octane politics in Bungoma, then he will be absorbed in government. However, there is what he's saying, that President Uhuru Kenyatta has very highly informed intelligence on the political landscape in this country. And that perhaps is why the president decided to support Raila Odinga. Now, this is what Lusaka was trying to portray.
That's a very difficult. The president is, he knows all of us, and he knows he's the president of the country. He has, the greatest consumer of all the intelligence in the republic is the president. He knows what Lusaka is. He knows what I do at night. He knows what I do during the day. He knows how I operate. So, whatever informs his decisions, I believe that he is also a wise person in his own way. That's why Kenyans have entrusted him to lead us for 10 years. So, I think he knows why he made that particular position. I cannot pretend to say.
This is an interesting twist to Raila Odinga's presidential bid. And I think what is a highly guarded secret is what is in between Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta. Many have looked at it, and at some point it was packaged as a motive for peace, for stability of the country, for economic recovery, or rather economic revolution. Someone was telling me that, was just challenging me that, Kevin, if President Uhuru Kenyatta was supporting Raila because of his good plans for economic recovery or what he can do for the country, then Uhuru would have implemented those projects because Uhuru is a president. So it tells you that first, it had to be about the fallout with William Ruto. I have always maintained that the biggest blunder that Dr. William Ruto did is, one, failing to understand and apprehend the interest of President Uhuru Kenyatta. And his interest was well covered by Raila Odinga. Uhuru wanted a good name because he knew he was going to retire. So he wanted a legacy project. He wanted a success. But because that was not covered well, and in fact, when they had the handshake, I want to understand it was first premised on those. However, that was not well captured. This makes me remember this famous marathon clip last year when he was speaking in Nakuru. And Uhuru was making it clear, and that was the first time he was dropping a hint on supporting Raila Odinga.
Watu wana mambo mengi. Bid your time. Uongozi hauna haraka. Jipeleke pole pole utafika. Tunaelewana? Lakini usijipeleke na speed mpaka unalaumu wenzako, hutaki kuungana na wao, hutaki kufanya kazi na wao. Tunaelewana? Kwa hivyo mimi sinifichi, mimi hakuna kura mimi natafuta. Musikuje na speed. Speed inaangusha jameni. Afadhali pole pole na ufike pahali ambapo ulikuwa unaenda. Ukikuja waambie huyu ni mzee hafai, tunataka kijana, sijui huyu ni ako namna hii, huyu ako namna hii, huyu ako namna ile. Mtu anachagua na bongo bana, mtu achagui na uongozi huko hapa. Uongozi sio sprint, ni marathon. Wewe utakimbia hapa, by the time umefika pale pumzi imeisha, lakini mzee amekanyanga pole pole akuja kupitia ukiwa bado kwa barabara.
And you can listen to that the presidential race is not football, it is marathon. By that time he was acknowledging something that we are going to look at. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly subscribe to my channel. My good friend and brother Balozi Media has new music in his YouTube page. Check out Balozi Media and please support. Through that, we are also supporting other talents. There is one point that political observers, if you're keen, you will appreciate. That President Uhuru Kenyatta, yes, has access to intelligence, top intelligence, in raw, refined and raw data. However, there is something that you can see, that during the BBI process until the reggae was stopped, Raila's popularity had gone down. Now, by the moment President Uhuru Kenyatta was talking about mzee atatoka nyuma na kupite kama umesimama, what Uhuru was acknowledging that deputy president was ahead of the race. So by that time, if election was to be held in this country in December or somewhere last year in November, Uhuru, Deputy President William Ruto was going to be sworn in as the 5th president. But Uhuru had intelligence that perhaps this other BBI associations and the BBI project was also making Raila Odinga unpopular. But however, his graph was likely to grow. So I posit as this could be a very key observation that President Uhuru Kenyatta made to make up his mind to support Raila Odinga, because the biggest, I know what the kind of embarrassment that the president do not want is a situation where he's been in fallout with his deputy for better part of his second term. Then later on it comes that they must have now, he must hand over power to Ruto. And of course, was having reconciliatory meetings with Mount Kenya, the Council of Elders. So there was that back and forth meetings where there was a delegation that met at Raila's place. Then Raila was also welcomed by the Gikuyu Council of Elders. Then that was going on. As that was going on, Raila was just trying to cross the bridge, rather to bring the bridge between Luo and Kikuyu. And just a pointer, by that time, there are leadership levels in Kikuyu, and my good friend Jackie was telling me about this, that one, there is the church, then there is the Mudhamaki. So the Mudhamaki are the President Uhuru Kenyatta, and the church is also a very key element. It's a very strong fabric in Mount Kenya. So when Ruto went through the church, Raila was also creating a link through the Mudhamaki, or rather the Kikiama, yes, through the Mudhamakis. Now, what I was simply trying to say is this, that Uhuru's involvement in active politics had been informed earlier, and he knew that the report he had was that if he was to play an active role in politics, he was not going to be a key influencer on who inherits. He could not play his politics, the inheritance politics from State House, and have a substantial influence. I am one person who is convinced that Raila's graph might be growing because the way Uhuru has detached from Raila's campaigns. This was hatched some time back because remember when Oka was formed. So apparently Mudavadi and Gideon Moi, then Kalonzo, it was formed, and President met with that team twice. He met with them before even they formed Oka. Then after they now are Oka, and the president was telling them, it was all over in the papers, that you need to work with Raila Odinga so that you win the presidency. If you don't work with Raila, then Uhuru Kenyatta, then William Ruto is going to lose, is going to win. That is an information that, and I think if you check this photo, that was the photo that the president, when president was meeting the principals. So that decision seems to have been reached sometime earlier. And there were also emerging the talks between Mudavadi and Ruto, ladies and gentlemen, did not start a month to the 23rd general election. Those talks started early last year, around September. The last meeting that Oka held in Naivasha is the one that Mudavadi attended. From then, Mudavadi started then showing signs of disunity. Remember last year in October, Oka was supposed to produce a presidential candidate. They were supposed to announce, then they kept on postponing. Uhuru, through the intelligence, might have intercepted that there were talks between Mudavadi and Mudavadi and William Samoei Ruto. And because of those talks, then it was only wise that they makes a formidable force that then could counter that. Remember, Azimio la Umoja was formed somewhere in September last year, and the first rally was held in Nakuru. So when Azimio la Umoja started, Raila was running the show with a host of governors. Then Oka with Musalia Mudavadi and Kalonzo were still there. But Uhuru might have known that Mudavadi was on his way to work with William Ruto. So he advised Raila that, look here, you need to start your path. And that's what gave birth to Azimio la Umoja. These are some of the elements that informed why now, after that there were only two options. It was either Raila, or it was either a Raila ticket with Central Kenya, or maybe an Oka ticket where Kalonzo picks maybe Musalia Mudavadi or something. Then they get the backing of President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. But when he had that, they had to make a decision. Uhuru had an idea about the strength of UDA in the country. The biggest threat or one of the biggest issues that came out on this 2022 August is already a pre-existence of a wave that was on class, the hustlers and the dynasties. And because Uhuru knew very well that the targeted area was central Kenya, the targeted area was central Kenya, he traded his guns, and the person that could face off and do that campaign to try to unwind the UDA wave, there could be no any person apart from Raila Odinga. Because I believe that Kalonzo but does not have the charm offensive and is not yet collected. And because he had already worked with Raila Odinga through the handshake and all of that, it was very easy for Raila for the destiny to converge around Raila Odinga's presidential bid. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my bold analysis.